What's up, guys? How are you doing today? I am back with another recap of a second Canadian MMA event, second in the same weekend, and another real good event by BTC. It was their 14th event, and it was taking place on Saturday, March 5th in London, Ontario. Unfortunately, I tend to attend these BTC events, but London, man, is just too far away from here. Like Niagara, St. Catharines, that's about the farther that I'm going to go, man, to move to see the event, man. Way too far, London, and I'm kind of pissed I missed that one. To be quite honest, it was a good one, really good matchups all over the card. Um, really good event over here, and I'm here to recap everything that happened from start to finish. And of course, we are going to begin with the main event of the evening. Assenza, the household name of BTC, was fighting against Kazuma Maruyama, a Japanese fighter. And what a good showing by Assenza, man. Real good, complete performance. I'd say he began by using his hands a little bit more, and he found out quite quickly that it was really the wrestling that was the winning way for him, the way that was giving him the easier path to victory. Yes, but also the most success. He did good with his hands. I must say, he still did good. He kept on going forward, was really letting his hands go. Did not seem too bothered about the counters from the Japanese fighter, and he was really able to put on some good action and some good damage on his opponent, especially at once he landed a spinning wheel kick that was pretty cool. But like I said, he did some really good work against the cage, and really found out quick that if he was able to land the takedowns, he was able to be really dominant on top, was able to pass the guard, get himself in half guard, land some good damage, some good ground and pound, remain active on top at every moment. It wasn't a fight where you see a guy on top of the other one and it's kind of a slow paced, boring fight. No, Adam Assenza kept on working, kept on doing some good work. He got swept at one point in the third round, but was really able to utilize good technique to get his guard back at first, and then push on his opponent's hip, and he was able to get up really quickly and even secure a takedown within like 30 to 35 seconds after he got up from that takedown. So really good fight for him, was able to dominate all the way through. A real clear unanimous decision. He got the 30-27s on every judge's scorecard, and that was well deserved. Good performance. Can't wait to see what's next for him, and happy to have him back in Canada. He was fighting for B2 past of a couple of past events, and now he's back here. He's back in Canada fighting for BTC, kind of his own promotion, and we're really happy to have him back. He's a really cool fighter to see and to watch fight. So I'm really happy. Good job by Adam Assenza. A real good performance in the main event. Then the co-main event, it was a rematch, a very short notice rematch, and it was by far the best fight on the event. One of my favorite fights, the best fight on the card. And like I'd say, this weekend in Canadian MMA, we really had three really good fights, like really great fights that we're gonna speak about at the end of the year. Of course, Bular Gavrilovic and Campbell Prepelic. These two fights were already cemented there before the event even started, the unified event. But Hudson Nash, the rematch was amazing. The first time was a split decision. The second time around was a split decision. Razor close fight. And to be quite honest, I scored it for Xavier Nash. And like, I'm not mad at the decision. I don't even know if people are mad at the decision, because I know these guys, they're kind of teammates, right? I know one trains for Santos Brothers BJJ. Shout out to Wagner, who is my Novo black belt, and shout out to Aegis MMA, where Scott Hudson trains. But both guys also train at Niagara Top Team, and like, they're pretty close in weight. I guess they're probably training together quite often in the gym, and you could really see that these guys, yes, they had already fought 15 minutes before together, and then they knew each other pretty well because of the training. Because and I think the Josh Hill pointed that at one point during the fight, that like, it's never the first thing that the guy is doing that works. It's always one guy is trying something, the other guy knows exactly what's coming, so he's countering, and it's often the counter of the counter that ends up landing for the person that's able to land it. And like, it was an amazing fight, to be quite honest. It was an amazing fight. I really liked it. As far as scoring goes, like, the thing here is that it was a razor close fight. I don't really care how people scored it. Like, I could accept the 29-28 for Hudson easily. I scored it 29-28 for Nash. The only thing is that, like, if there was a case to be made that one fighter won every round, it's a reach, but I think the case could be made for Xavier Nash, and it could not be made for Scott Hudson. So that's why I kind of felt like Xavier deserved to win that fight. Basically, how I scored it really, really carefully. I rewatched it after I watched it 2 times in a row, thanks to my my man Rob Vevers, who gave me a code to rewatch the event, because I was live streaming for UFC 272 main card. So at 10 p.m. I moved on to the UFC. I still had BTC on my laptop, but I couldn't pay as much attention as I wanted to. So I had to rewatch the 3 last fights. Were really the one that I didn't have the chance to concentrate on, and when I had the chance, I watched Hudson and Nash 2 times in a row. And my read is really that I feel like the first round was really close. Xavier Nash kind of ended the round strong, but I feel like Scott Hudson did enough in the first part of the first round to get ahead in that round. And I feel like, yes, Xavier was catching up to him, but I think he didn't quite catch up to Scott in the very first round. So that's why I gave the first round to Scott Hudson. But like I said, it could really have gone either way. Second round, that's the one I feel like is probably the swinging round here, the round that decides the fight, because I feel like the third round was a really, really good Xavier round, and not only a good Xavier round, but he also finished the round really strong. So that was, in my opinion, the third round is the clearest round of the fight, and it's Xavier Nash round by far. First round, I gave it to Hudson, but I feel like it could have gone either way. Second round, then it's tough because, like, if you look at the moments, Scott Hudson has the bigger moments in that round. The flying knee. He has one big takedown. He has 2 or 3 really tight step knees that when Xavier was coming in to close the range and throw a strike, he stepped in with a knee, and he hurt it. I won't say hurt him, but he got him good with that technique couple of times in the round. So that, the flying knee, which was by far the biggest moment of the round, and a really good clear takedown that did not resort to any top control or anything really significant, but still was one of the good things that happened in that round. So that's the big moments, and I feel like they were in Scott's favor. But in general, I feel like the more efficient work was really done by Xavier in that round. Like, first off, he was able to land partially, but land good with multiple head kicks. He was setting up the head kick really well. He was able to get it through Hudson's guard a couple of times in that round, even more. So really good in that aspect, and some really good pressure. He was a guy going forward, putting on good pressure, letting his hands go. Really good at clinching, trying to take down. Hudson had amazing takedown defense. I feel like that's maybe a factor why he ended up winning that second round in the end. But really good takedown attempts, and when he was coming off the clinch, always striking coming off the clinch, and was able to land his best punches doing that. So I feel like, yes, the bigger moments are for Scott Hudson in the second round, but the more efficient work all around, I feel like, was for Xavier Nash. And even though Scott had the big moments, I don't feel like he really hurt. Like, he wasn't never close to finishing Xavier Nash, or even close to like putting him on skates or making him back up and cover up. None of that really happened. Even when he took the knee, yes, he had to like to take a step back, but at no point we were, oh no, he's close to finishing that fight. So that's why I scored it for Xavier, basically. But like I said, I'm okay with Scott winning that fight, to be honest. He had the better moments in the second round. I feel like he edged out the first round, clearly lost the third, but that's 2-1 for Hudson, and I'm not against that scorecard. Like, I won't come here and say, oh no, that was a trash decision and I do not agree with it. No, I did not score it the same way as 2 of the 3 judges, but I'm not against the score that was in favor for Scott Hudson. And to be honest, I just don't want to be here and speak about the decision in a fight that was that good. And Xavier Nash, man, this fucking guy was had a losing record like at a point, and now he moved up back to 6-4. He's now 6-5, but 6-5 with two losses by split decision to Scott Hudson. I think he has some loss against UFC fighters like is it John Gunter and who's the other one? I don't quite remember, but like Xavier Nash, his losses are really really good, and man, the guy has come a real long way, to be honest. He was a guy that wasn't deserving of his losing record, and he really turned it around. And he's such an amazing fighter. And to come right here is Devontae Smith, the other guy that he lost to. But to come back here uh, and have a close fight on such short notice against such a good opponent, I gotta tip my hat to him. He's an awesome fighter, and Scott Hudson has been one of my favorite lightweights in Canada for years now. So it was an amazing fight, and I don't want to be here and bitch about the decision when I feel like it could really have gone either way. So good job to both guys. I can't wait to see them both fight again. Then Chris Lieber, Simon Marini at 205. That wasn't really what we expected because they basically stayed at range and boxed. And man, I kind of anticipated a little grappling from CLB here. He shot, I think, twice, but it was in the third round, and he got stuffed pretty easily. So maybe in the end, it was the good move, not to burn his energy out trying to take the bigger, more muscular guy. But being the bigger and more muscular guy in that fight did not help Simon Marini because, yes, he was able to land some good shots here and there, but I feel like CLB really had a good strategy for that fight, being the lighter fighter, being the quicker fighter. He really stayed light on his feet, used a lot of movement, and he knew that Simon Marini was going to look to counter him. So what CLB did was basically come in, land the strikes, come out. Do not engage, do not try to brawl with that guy, exchange with that guy. And he really stuck to the game plan. Maybe it gave us like a slower pace fight that we expected. Maybe we expected a finish here, like a violent knockout, or even like a submission, since CLB is a pretty good grappler, and I don't think Marini is super well versed in grappling. But we've seen the way that the takedown attempts went in that third round, and when I saw that, I felt like that confirmed that CLB had took the right way to win that fight. And it was in his hometown. He had a lot of people in the crowd for him. He had a lot of pressure on him to win this fight, to get the night off to a good end for his team. There was many Munda Jiu-Jitsu guys on that card. Some of them won, some of them lost, but in the end, it was a good night for the gym, I believe. And CLB was the guy who crowned it all with a good win in front of his home crowd. Good performance. I feel like he may have lost the third round in the end. Marini kind of woke up in the end and really like turned the pace a little notch, and that gave him the third round. But I feel like he did not do enough. He did not throw enough before that, so there's no way he could have won that fight. Good performance for CLB, and I hope to see him back, because this guy, like, if he can be active, he could fight at 85, he can fight at 205, he can even do heavyweight if you really want to. And that's three divisions, especially 205 and heavyweight, that, man, if there can be just some people willing to fight in these divisions in Canada, that's just what we need, man. So I shout out to CLB and can't wait to see him fight again. Then my personal favorite moment of the evening, and like, I'm biased about that for sure, because I know Kevin. He's one of my buddies. He's from Quebec, the province, not the city. But I love the guy. Him and Zachary Powell, they're two of my buddies, and I really love them. And like, Kevin did not. When you speak about not deserving of your record, the guy fought like two of the biggest killers in Canada in his two first pro fights, and he was 0-2. And like, the guy's way better than that, and that, like, everybody loves Kevin. You gotta see his walkout just as a proof. The guy had his old gym behind him. Like, everybody was there to trying to give Kevin some energy for his fight, because like, he's appreciated by everybody. He's always there to train. He's always there to help out everybody in his gym, and everybody loves the guy. And that's for a reason. The guy's amazing, and I'm really happy for him, because he really showed out in that fight. He absolutely destroyed Patrick MacInnis standing, at the better moments on the ground too. He was really a good complete performance that like we were waiting for this moment. We knew that Kevin was good. He was a double two-way class champ on the amateur circuit for Fight Quest, which is probably one of the better amateur leagues in Canada, and like he had some amazing success there. I've seen Kevin won many fights before, so we were like waiting for that first pro win that we knew he was gonna get because he's a good fighter, and like he absolutely dominated Patrick MacInnis. Two, we have to give some props because he was really tough, and the way that Kevin came out like a house of fire and that was really dominating him in every phase of the game. Like the guy could have just folded and went out in the first round, and it did not happen. He kept on fighting, he kept on doing what he could, but it just wasn't enough, and Kevin was able to submit him in the second round of an amazing performance. I'm really proud of him. The guy has put in the work, and now he's reaping the rewards. So congratulations to Kevin. Continue comme ça, tabarnak. And we're moving on to another great moment. Another one of the guys that I really love watching fight is Jake Geauvreau. He fought Ryan Hollenbeck, and man, it was just not the same level of opposition than in his first fight. Like Jake Geauvreau in his first fight fought Izzudeen Atmeh, and we've seen Izzudeen have like plenty success on the Canadian MMA scene, and like we know today how much of a challenge it was to fight Izzudeen in his first pro fight. And yes, it was super back and forth, super competitive, but Geauvreau was able to secure the win, and he was fighting another debutant in Ryan Hollenbeck. And like, I got nothing against Ryan, it just wasn't the same kind of opposition, and Jake Geauvreau like basically made it look easy. Was able to secure a takedown not that early in the round. There was some exchange on the feet. Hollenbeck did some good stuff, to be quite honest. I feel like he's a good striker. I want to see more from him against maybe a more manageable opponent. I feel like Geauvreau was one of the brightest prospects in the country. Like there's no shame to make your pro debut and lose to Jake Geauvreau, and that's what happened to Ryan here. But Jake he's good. I can't wait to see him back. He's 20 years old. He's got all the time in the world. He's got an amazing group of coaches around him, Crew Jeff and Pete Fazekas. He's got some good training partners. We see Alex O'Neill in his corner. He's obviously training with Mateo Vogel and Matarlo and all these guys, and like way more people than these guys. It's an amazing gym in Ottawa, New Era Combat Sports, and they keep on turning some really good fighters every time that you see one of the guys from that gym in the cage. You know that you gotta expect some great things from him. And Jake, I'm not coming here and saying he's the brightest prospect amongst them all, because like I said, this gym still has Mateo and still has Alex O'Neill, so there's really good competition there for Jake Geauvreau. But man, he's one of the brightest prospects in the country, that's without the shadow of a doubt, and I can't wait to see what's next for him, because his rise may be really, really fast, and that would be deserved because the guy's absolutely amazing. Then Cody Chovancek, Nicky Heinrichs was kind of like the Jake Geauvreau fight, but even quicker. Cody did not lose any time, secured the takedown. There was some good, Nicky did some good things on bottom, like to try and scramble, to try and get out of these positions, but Cody's top control is just really good, and he was able to quickly secure the best position, get to the back, get the choke, end it quick for a second win in a second fight. So another guy, Niagara top team. These guys don't listen. Like the only fight that Niagara top team has lost this year is the co-main event of that card, and you know that like the two guys were repping partially for Niagara top team, Scott Hudson and Xavier Nash. So yes, they lost that fight, but they won that fight too. So is it really a loss? Yes, it's a loss on the official record, but like they're 8-1 since the beginning of 2022. Like there's no gym that can come close to compete with Niagara top team right now in Canada. Everybody that comes out of that gym is winning or like losing really close split decisions. They're amazing, and Cody is one of these guys. He's one of the new crop of fighters that we're seeing come out of that gym, that's gonna like move up to to have a bigger record and probably be the next Aaron Jeffrey, probably be the next Jasmine, the next Vlad Kazbekov, who absolutely destroyed the USC vet in in 18 seconds at CES MMA. Last Friday, we didn't talk about it much because it kind of got lost in the shuffle of everything that happened. But man, shout out to Vlad Kazbekov. This is another guy who was a monster who's now having he's got a good record now, 7-4, and maybe there's the few UFC in the future for that guy too. So man, major props to Cody, major props to Niagara Top Team. And let's stay with some Niagara Top Team success because Vinny Diaz, Izzudeen Atmeh was one of the semifinals of the $10,000 BTC Bantamweight tournament. The other one, unfortunately, got canceled because there was something wrong with Ariel Zuniga's medical. He was supposed to fight the other Atmeh brother, Albera, in the other semifinals. But now we know that one of the finalists is Vinny Diaz. And how good is this guy, man? Like, there's fighters that you say, oh, if you can keep him on his feet, maybe there's something you can do there. But Izzu Atmeh has some good takedown defense, is a good grappler, is an amazing striker, and he couldn't strike because Vinny Diaz was all over him, pressing him against the cage, landing some takedowns, absolutely smothering him on the ground, get into the back to the dominant positions. He probably won 2 10-8s, according to me. 2 to 3 10-8s that fight. So absolute complete domination by Vinny Diaz, who moves up to 3-0. And like when you're talking about some of the brightest prospects in Canada, like back to back to back, we've seen 3 of them with Jake, with Cody, and with Vinny Diaz. And Vinny is super good. This guy is impressive, and he's gonna be the favorite. Like I said, since almost the beginning, he's gonna be the favorite to win that tournament. Whether he faces Albera Atmeh, the other brother, or he faces Ariel Zuniga. We never know with Zuniga. That guy's so crazy, and he can lose the whole fight and win by comeback in the third round. That's kind of a thing he does, and it's always super entertaining, wild, crazy fight. So we never know who's gonna win the other semifinal, but man, they got their work cut out for them because Vinny Diaz does not look like the man who's coming there to lose that tournament. He's one of the brightest prospects in the country, and man, I can't wait to see what's next for him. Even though I know what it is the finals of the tournament, but I can't wait to see it because he's got a super bright future in front of him. Then Seth Connor, Broderick, Rene, and you can call me a Seth Connor fan, but I've been a Seth Connor fan. This guy is pure jiu-jitsu, man. He does not give a single fuck. He's gonna go onto his back and try to do some weird ass rubber guard stuff and man, I love him so much. Even though you pass the side control on him, he's gonna try to create some disruption with his legs, with his arms. He's really like slick with the jiu-jitsu, but also uh I'd say non-conventional. Like he's got a really weird style, and like they were in a weird position, and I kind of told myself, hey, you can almost try an inverted triangle from here. I wonder if he tried that, would it work? And he fucking did it. He just did it. It's like almost like he read my mind. He did it, and it was amazing. It was beautiful, and he tried to finish it multiple ways and was able to find a way to finish it. Which that's a tough finish. That's a tough submission to finish. Like often when you got the inverted triangle on somebody when from the back, when you only got the head and the arm, and it's kind of tough to finish. You got to go with an armbar, a shoulder lock of some sort. But by working the other arm, he was really able to get a position where he had good enough leverage to finish the choke, and that was wizard shit. That was super great, and I'm super happy for Seth Connor that he got the win. Man, this guy does not always win when he comes to fight, but he always comes to fight. He always comes to do some jiu-jitsu and do some great slick stuff on the ground, and when it works, I'm super happy because I'm a nerd for that shit. And if there's one type of jiu-jitsu I like, it's weirdo jiu-jitsu, and I feel like Seth Connor is a proud member of the weirdo jiu-jitsu community. So let's fucking go, Seth. Can't wait to see more. Then Another really good fight. Liam Gallagher, Dylan McIlvenny. Liam was making his pro debut, kind of an anticipated pro debut. He's been like it's been a while since he wanted to make the jump to the pros. He was an amateur champ coming from a really good camp. He's a prospect that his coach is Josh Hill, so coming from Vision Quest, he's a good fighter. And I was really looking forward to see him fight, and he fought against Dylan McIlvenny, a good fighter, really good, resilient fighter. And Liam at the better first round was able to defend the takedowns, land the better strikes, even get some grappling of his own. But in the second round, we could really see Dylan, who was persistent with the takedown attempts. He was able to get one of these takedowns, get some really good time on top, really good, like efficient moments on the grappling department, and he was really able to win that round and even the fight up. And then in the third round, it was kind of more of the same, still a competitive round, but Dylan was really able to secure the better positions and out grapple his opponent. And then Liam Gallagher out of nowhere was able to secure the arm bar in the third round to get the win in his pro debut against a really good opponent. And like, that's the way you want to start your career. And Dylan McIlvenny is super tough. He's a guy that is gonna like give some really good opposition to everybody in the division. And to make your pro debut against such a resilient guy, and to have some moments not go your way, and to face some adversity, and to come through and still pull out that fight with a win. That's some really good stuff by Liam Gallagher, and I can't wait to see what's next for that prospect. And then the first fight of the evening, Gino, Ghalehpardaz, Nate Ledger. And Nate Ledger is the type of guy who always comes close to win, but does not quite win. But that fight wasn't that close. Gino clearly was the better grappler and was able to secure the best positions, get a real good back control with a body triangle, and get the rear naked choke at about between 2 and 3 minutes of the first round. Good performance by Gino. He was 0-1 in MMA at lost to Nick Cambasis a couple of years back, 2019, I believe. Um, was able to also come on short notice against Nate and get that victory in the catchweight fight. So good stuff all around. Like I said, amazing event. There's only one thing I need to say, and you know I love the guys at BTC, so I don't like to come here with the criticism. But and I don't think, maybe just because the fights like went faster than expected, and like they want to build them. But please, guys, don't do two intermissions, man. That was rough. And that's maybe because I was at home watching and I had the time to smoke a lot and get high. And I know that, like, when you're live, maybe you prefer these intermissions because if you don't want to miss any action, it gives you the time to get something to eat, maybe go smoke outside, go to the washroom, go get some beer. But, like, for the live experience at home, for the people watching on the stream, like, two long intermissions is a little bit too much. Like, this event lasted about 6 hours and there were 10 fights. So, man, that's the only negative point. The event was amazing. The fights were amazing. The action delivered. We had some good established fighters, some close fights, some impressive finishes, some amazing prospects. Like, it had it all. It was an amazing event, but the intermissions, man, that's long and that's a momentum killer. Like, for me it is. So that's my only little criticism about the whole thing. But nonetheless, amazing event. Can't wait to see what's next. We're gonna be there for the next ones. There, I think they're supposed to do most of the events in the GTA, like in Burlington, Brampton, Oshawa. If it all stays together, I think that's the way that it's gonna go. So we're gonna be there. Toronto, Niagara, we can go there. Farther than that, too far. But if it's in the Toronto area, we'll be there for sure. So can't wait for the next BTC event. For the Challenger Series too, I really like that concept. So can't wait to see what's next for BTC. They've really established themselves as the promotion in Ontario, the best MMA promotion in the biggest province of Canada. So major props to them. It's been a fun ride and it's going to continue to be a fun ride, and we're going to be along for it. So shout out to everybody at BTC. Shout out to the fighters who put some great action in the the cage. That was a great event. That was my recap. You can like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to see more of that shit, see more of the content. We've got some podcasts every week. We've got lots of things going on MMA Talk, so you can follow us at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of that shit. We're everywhere. And thanks for watching. See you next time.